welcome to the live stream. It's been a while. I'm glad to be back. And an update on my dad. He's improving every day. So I'm happy to see that. Thank you for your prayers, everyone. I ask for your continued prayers. It's going to be a long road to recovery, and this is something that's your prayers are going to be very helpful. So, uh, Michael, in the comments on one of the videos, mentioned that Church Militant featured a clip of one of my videos and one of their videos, which is pretty cool. And so I took a look, and it was a video of me talking about Peter's Pence. I said, like, we're going to withhold the donations, hold these corrupt individuals accountable, and not give them any money to Peter's Pence. Now, I, I kind of I've kind of changed my opinion on that a little bit because they don't care. Like like they don't care if we donate to Peter's Pence or not because they're going to get their money from the Chinese government or possibly the United Nations or George Soros. Who really knows where they're getting their money from? But let's just say your $5 bill that you throw into the collection basket isn't going to do anything for them. So that's that. And as for Church Militant, uh, I mean, I respect them. I think they do a lot of good research, and I think that they run a lot of stories that aren't always necessarily covered very extensively, and so that's always pretty good. But then I think occasionally they're just flat out wrong, and they didn't really look through a lot of my videos. They didn't see where I criticized them for their SSPX coverage. And so I think that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I do appreciate them covering me. I do appreciate them taking the video clips and including it in their videos. So it's really hot in here. I was going to cover today a little bit about Father James Martin and his support from Pope Francis. So that's what I'm going to do, just for a little bit. But actually, getting back to Church Militant though, and I haven't posted an EVTN for a while. I want to talk about their lawsuit. There's an SSPX priest. Um, he, oh, and I see a comment here. But there's an SSPX priest who is filing a lawsuit against Church Militant. And I also see people getting kicked off of this live stream, so let me know if you're not able to see this. So the SSPX priest is filing a lawsuit against Church Militant, and Church Militant has gone on the offensive against LifeSite. LifeSite ran this news report discussing the lawsuit that an SSPX priest was filing against Church Militant. So that's an interesting rift to keep track of. Okay, so getting into Father James Martin, you know, are any of you surprised that this happened, like that the Pope endorsed Father James Martin? Because I'm certainly not. And Taylor Marshall had some good coverage of this, so I'm not going to talk extensively about it. But Father James Martin was promoted to the Vatican Communications Department in 2017. And so he's been on the radar of the Vatican for that long, and the Vatican has supported him for that long. Now, with Pope Francis endorsing Father James Martin, I'm not surprised. I mean, they're both Jesuits. Pope Francis has been known to be very sympathetic towards this stuff that's not Catholic. And the Vatican has, like I said, promoted him. Pope Francis met with Father James Martin a few years after 2017, and Father James Martin posted all over Twitter and said, "Hey, look, Pope Francis is promoting me," and all this stuff. But I don't know. It's if you want to see more, check Taylor Marshall's video. He talks about the situation. If you're not familiar with Father James Martin, Taylor Marshall does a good job summarizing what's going on. And so that's what I want to say about that. Maybe I'll do an EVTN at some point on that. And I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. And as I said before, I'm a little concerned that this live stream is getting held up because I don't see a whole lot of people on the live stream, and it seems like people are jumping on but then getting off right away. So um, anyway, okay, so I see a few comments here. Keep up the great content. Okay, so it doesn't see. Is anyone having problems with the live stream? If you can hear me, can you comment and let me know if the live stream is problematic? Because I've had these problems before, and oh, good. Okay, so I guess my YouTube numbers are just actually wrong, because it shows that there's one person on the live stream, but two people just commented. So thanks, YouTube, trying to censor me. Anyway, I see someone asking about the beard. Well, can you tell I'm sweating? So if I had the beard, it would be even worse. My face would be beet red, and maybe I need to be drinking water every 10 seconds. So that's why it's a seasonal thing. The beard is a seasonal thing. So yeah, now it shows 0 viewers. So I don't know if someone's internet's shaky or not, but I'm going to check this later and see if it works out. That's one of the problems with the live streams is usually I don't have a problem, but when I do, I completely waste my time. So that's interesting though. Anyway, so now I can talk a little bit more about the situation about Father James Martin. So was anyone surprised? Let me know in the comments if anyone was surprised about Pope Francis promoting Father James Martin, saying he's supported his ministry. Because Father James Martin's ministry is completely heretical. It's not Catholic. And the CDF, they just released this document about how LMNOP couples could not receive blessings. So I don't really know, and there's still people that say that Pope Francis is fully in line with the Catholic Church, fully in line with Catholic Church teaching, but there's at least one instance, no, two instances. So there's at least two instances where he deviated from the Catholic, Catholic standards, Catholic faith. The first one was whenever he reversed course on the capital punishment, where he said that capital punishment is inadmissible, which is, if you're looking at Catholic doctrine, no, it's not. And not that I support capital punishment in the United States. I think that, the justice system is kind of flawed. Yeah, there's Michael Belmontes. Thank you so much for sharing the Church Militant information. But then the second point is Amoris Laetitia, where Pope Francis, he seems to indicate that couples that are divorced and remarried can receive communion, which directly contradicts the words of Jesus. And so I see people filtering in on the live chat. Thanks. So by promoting Father James Martin, I mean, this is just another step in the wrong direction. And there are people that try to make excuses for Pope Francis, and a lot of people, I don't know, a lot of mainstream Catholics, Novus Ordo Catholics, what do they do? What do they think? Do they think that Pope Francis is fully traditional? Do they think that he's fully in line with Catholic teaching? Do they have a problem with the stuff he says? Because if you're not paying attention to the media, and here was my take, is that for the longest time, I thought that the media was trying to twist around Pope Francis's comments. But then when you realize that he could always issue a correction, he could always so for example, if someone said John the Son of Thunder supports LMNOP and they posted that all over YouTube or Twitter or whatever, you know what I could do? You know what would be really easy is to upload a video or go on a live stream and say, hey, this is completely wrong. I deny it. That's all you have to do. Instead of me, otherwise I could say, well, I will not say one word. What would that indicate to people? So I don't know. And I see a comment here, Francis speaks from both sides of his mouth. This has to do with the leader of Argentina, the former leader of Argentina, Juan Perón, I think that's his name, where he told people what they wanted to hear. But when Pope Francis is the one that's promoting the predators, when most of the McCarrick network is getting promoted, then what does that indicate? It indicates that Francis has no interest in the Catholic faith, and he has no interest in promoting people that have good moral character. So I don't really know what else to say about that. And so I don't know. I'm just going to end this video on that note. I see it's been 10 minutes, and I kind of wasted a lot of time worrying about if people could see people could see the live stream effectively. But uh, I don't know. It was pretty cool getting promoted by Church Militant. That's what I want to say. Getting my video clip in Church Militant, but I kind of wish they'd watch some of my other videos, because I'm making these. I made these statements years ago how we're gonna fight, we're gonna try to combat this corruption and all this stuff with by withholding money, but it doesn't really do a lot of good, as we can easily tell, because the Catholic Church in the United States, they get they I did personal research where my research showed that Catholic Charities in the United States receives at least 1.5 billion every year from the United States government. Now, I think other reports have indicated over 2.3 billion, but from my own personal research, I can personally verify that there is 1.5 billion dollars received by Catholic Charities every year from the U.S. government. And a lot of these Catholic Charities organizations are in conjunction with the dioceses, so they don't care. And that's all. That's all we have there. I'm gonna get to I want to take a look at the comments. And what is it? CM could learn something if they would watch your videos. Well, that's. I mean, I appreciate the comment. They are watching. I see the comment for Church Militant is watching my videos. Well, obviously, they didn't watch my videos where I criticized them for their biased reporting against the SSPX. But no, Church Militant, I talk about some of their stories sometimes, and that's always a good, it's always nice to see their original reporting, and they will report on certain stories that some of the other agencies will not. And that's the same. I like to think of myself as that's what I do on this channel, is I try to bring these stories to light so that you guys, to deliver you guys top content. I read between the lines. I have a good video coming up about Bishop Daley of Spokane, Washington, and some of the stuff that he said recently and in the past. So keep in touch for that. Now, someone says, I would love to know why Michael Voris has such hatred for the SSPX. I've discussed this in previous videos. I see. It appears from what there is some research that has been done that said that Church Militant receives money from Opus Dei, and I can't verify this, so this is just speculation. But there is a member, I think it's on their board of directors. His name is Terry Carroll. He appears on their tax form, the 990 tax form, as a key employee. And there's speculation that he is Opus Dei. He has said that schism is worse than abortion, and the SSPX is in schism. Now, I don't know if he's a top donor. I don't know if he's Opus Dei, but I know that he has said that quote. And if he is influencing, some of the decisions made at Church Militant, that could be a possibility. But yeah, that is my speculation right now. Okay, so I'm seeing some supportive comments here. Ty says Bishop Daley is great, and there's King Baldwin who says that there's, you show your video on breaking the habit I show people frequently. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm currently listening to Bishop Schneider on the SSPX. Yeah, Bishop Schneider has some good insight on the SSPX. But here's my thing, is that if you don't like the SSPX, no one's forcing you to attend their masses. So I think that's the big, the big issue in these debates, is that, like, you don't have to necessarily insult other people just because you're not comfortable with attending an SSPX mass. So, but yeah, getting back to the breaking in the habit video, I've received a lot of critical comments for the breaking in the habit video. There's a lot of people that are trolling my video, and they're saying, oh, why are you judging? And I feel like I was pretty balanced on that. I didn't call Father Casey a heretic. I don't know if he is. I mean, that's not my my path to judge. That's not my path to declare him a heretic. But what I say is that it seems that he is associated with extremely questionable figures. We're talking about Father James Martin. Well, Father Casey, he's someone who was promoted by Father James Martin. What does that say? If Father James Martin promoted one of my videos, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know how I'd react. That'd be actually pretty funny. So, but then he's also his order. They're very LMNOP friendly, and you you really just gotta follow traditional orders. Um, you really just gotta listen to traditional Catholics at this point, because if you're listening to mainstream, like I can't even handle it. Whenever people start quoting Vatican II documents and saying like, whenever they're talking about just different topics, I'm like, you got to quote the traditions of the Catholic faith. I don't want to hear what they said at Vatican II. I want to hear what the church fathers said. I want to hear what 1900 years of tradition has said. What about the words of the apostles or Jesus? I want to hear those words, not what a bunch of people said at Vatican II and it's misinterpreted. So I don't know. You got to follow tradition. You got to follow traditional commentators, and if you can, you got to follow traditional priests, because, and let me tell you this, there's a lot of secret trads, a lot of secret traditional priests out there, and that's pretty much the extent I want to go on that. But there are priests who they support Taylor Marshall. There are priests who basically agree with the stuff that Father James Altman has said, and those are the ones you want to try and find. And a lot of them, you know, a lot of them are very intrigued by the Latin Mass. They're intrigued by the traditionalist movement. Um, so let me take a look and see if there's any. There's a lot of comments coming in here. Um, Live chat. I want to hear I'm going to hell when I am wrong. Well, that's always nice to hear corrections. And you know, I don't think that like optimistic positive sermons are a bad thing, but if that's all you ever hear, and if all you ever hear is there's a reasonable hope that all are saved, then I don't think that's a good thing. But if it's always gloom and doom, sometimes you just need to take a little break. People have bad days. People just get demoralized. So you give them hope. Like Father Mark Goring is one I really like watching, and it's because he's very realistic about the situation in our church, but he's also optimistic. He has hope in the resurrection, and he's on fire for Jesus, and that's what we want. We all need to be like that. And so if I'm talking about all this news and the negativity that's going on in the church, how's that going to save your soul? You know, you need to try to listen to some podcasts about church history or some of our faith. And that's what I like to do with, like, I was promoting the Byzantine Catholic side of things, and I really like that because it's a really intriguing, interesting section of our Catholic faith, and a lot of people don't know about it. And I don't think those videos were super popular, but for me, it was very enlightening. And what's also inspiring to me is going into different churches and, yeah, going into different churches, seeing the high altars. And I see a comment that says there's a reason why my Novus Ordo priest wants me to teach catechesis or CIA. Well, you know who should be teaching that? And I'm not calling out the priest, but the priest should be the one teaching it because, yeah, there's a reason that my Novus Ordo. Yeah, and maybe he doesn't have the time. That's fine. But I think the priest should be the one, especially the traditional priests. They should be the one talking to these new people. And you ever wonder how interesting it is that at, like, say, Novus Ordo parishes, it's always interesting to see that there's a faith formation director, sometimes a paid faith formation director, and they could go all sorts of different directions with things. So they could talk about how baptism. Actually, what's funny? I have a story from my parents. They actually got the baptism prep person. I don't know if they were a faith formation director or volunteer or whatever, but they got them fired because when they were preparing for, I don't know if it was my baptism or one of my siblings, they went to the course and they asked the faith formation person asked, what is the purpose of baptism? And my dad said, to save, to eliminate or to get rid of original sin. and they said, well, it's more of an initiation into the church. And so they actually told the priest about that, and they got the person fired, which I thought that was hilarious when they told me that years later. I really appreciated that. Um, but I think, you get all kinds of spotty people teaching the faith, and maybe they'll pull up a video on YouTube of Father Mike Schmitz. And from what I've seen of Father Mike Schmitz, he's pretty solid. He I don't think I've seen anything that he's said that I've really even questioned at all. But I think with faith formation directors, they could always just take a video, um, show a video of Father James Martin, and say, hey, he's welcoming to the LMNOP community, and we need to accompany people, dialogue. This is what the bishops are all about: dialogue, accompaniment, synodality, and we need to talk about the great. What makes you a great Catholic is planting a tree. Pope Francis loves the environment, and Saint Francis almost worshipped the earth. This is just like the bogus stuff that you're hearing, and I don't know how to correct it. The video isn't on this topic, and actually, I didn't expect the video to go nearly this long, but with all the comments, I really appreciate the comments in the live chat. Maybe I'll get back to that at some point, but like I said, my schedule is very busy, and it's hard to schedule a regular time where we can just have a chat, do a question and answer session, and yeah, I see a comment. Happy year of Laudato Si. Well, on that note, um, I want to say you can tell I'm sweating. Global warming's really hitting me hard. I mean, it's probably in the 90s outside, and I might just go take a walk in this global warming environment. So, um, yeah, and I see a comment here. Thank you for defending the Novus Order. There are many traditional people, but not trads. Yeah, and I do want to make a comment, and I always want to talk about this, is that there are people who attend the Novus Ordo because they have no other option, and that's that's unfortunate. But I'm not at the point where I say that the Novus Ordo is invalid, because I don't. I mean, otherwise, I would think all the sacraments. I pretty much received all of my sacraments in the Novus Ordo, so all of my sacraments would have been invalid. So, and like every mass I attended until the Latin Mass would have been invalid. So that would have been very problematic on my end. So I'm not at that point where I say the Novus Ordo is invalid, and there are plenty of people that are forced to attend the Novus Ordo. I'm planning on escaping from the Novus Ordo. Well, good, good. I hope that you do. And if you have to drive an hour away, I think it's worth it. Any more than that, it's certainly certainly a little bit shaky, especially paying for gas every week. But if you can at least attend the Latin Mass every so often, or the Byzantine Divine Liturgy, irreverent Byzantine Divine Liturgy, there's some really good Byzantine priests out there, some really good ones. I definitely have the honor of knowing some of them. So once you go east, you never go back. Well, I don't know about that. I'm pretty much locked into my Roman Catholicism, but I definitely really appreciate attending a Byzantine Divine Liturgy every so often. I try to go at least once every 2 months or so. I went for Holy Week. I went to the Byzantines to Holy Thursday and Good Friday, so that was awesome. Anyway, this has gone on too long. I appreciate everyone sticking with me in the chat and in the live stream. So this is great. I hope to do this a lot more in the future. Maybe I'll schedule a regular time at some point. You guys can get on, ask some questions, interact with the chat. This is great. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. I see Shroud Service is my favorite on Good Friday. I want to talk about that at some point. I want to do more Byzantine stuff. I can see that it's pretty engaging. See you on Church Militant. Yeah, I'll see you guys. That's a great way to end. We are the Lady. We will not be silent. And I will see you guys on Church Militant.